Peace, family. Once again, it's your brother Marc Lamont Hill. I apologize for any audio issues we had there, but it is the War on Gaza report right here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Sounds like you can hear me. Hit the like button if you can hear me. Hit the thumbs up if you can hear me. I want to make sure you all can hear me as we move forward. But as I said, we want to cover the mainstream stories and the corporate media stories in a different way. We want to tell the truth. We want to have accurate information. We want to challenge the dominant narrative. And tonight we begin, as we always begin, with the numbers. We begin with the numbers. As of now, more than 74,000 Palestinian children have been killed. I'm sorry, that's not accurate. More than 74,000 more than 34,000 Palestinian people have been killed and more than 77,000 Palestinian people have been injured. In addition to the 34,000 who have been killed, 8,000 are under the rubble, which means the more honest and accurate death toll is well over 40,000. 2/3 of the people killed have been women and children. More than 1% of the child population in Gaza has been killed since October 7th. This is a horrific tragedy. This is a horrific human rights crisis. This is an inexcusable and indefensible contravention of international law. And yet, this is where we are. And the death toll continues to mount. The death toll continues to climb every single day. One of the things we've seen, one of the most tragic things that we've seen, has been this discovery of mass graves. Mass graves have been found in front of a Shifa hospital, but more recently, a Nasser hospital. And the discovery of a mass grave in front of the Nasser hospital, right inside of the medical complex, has been something that's been met with grief, something that's been met with shock, something that's been met with outrage, not just from Palestinians, but all around the world. More than 300 bodies at this point have been found. More than 300 bodies have been found. I can't say that enough because the number is so absurd. It's so ridiculous that it almost doesn't feel real. We're at 392 bodies that have been found inside of three separate mass graves in Gaza. Now, the Palestinian Civil Defense says that it will cooperate with an independent investigation. And that independent investigation is also being endorsed and even called for by the United Nations. The UN is saying, do an investigation, collect all evidence, protect all evidence. Stephanie Dujarric, who's a spokesperson for the UN Secretary General, said it is, quote, important that all forensic evidence be well preserved. Now, what's interesting to me is I'm old enough to remember just a week ago when people were trying to say that it was Hamas who created the mass graves. People said it was a Palestinian lie that Israel committed these acts, that it was even a blood libel. But then today we're looking at corporate media in various international media, including in the UK. And now what the Israeli narrative has been dominantly has been, yeah, Israel killed those people. And yes, it is Palestinians in the mass grave, but they're all terrorists. That Israel has been wildly successful in killing all the terrorists, that the terrorist to civilian rate is so awesome that it exceeds any other military intervention in in global modern war history. And this mass grave with 392 people in it, like 390 of them is terrorists. They didn't say that exact number, but that's what they're trying to give off, that this is simply a precise military surgical strategy by the Israeli government. But it's not true. It's just another talking point. It went from it's not us to it was us, but we actually did a good thing. This is a common practice of Israeli Hezbollah, of propaganda. Anyway, the U.S. has says that it will begin constructing on a pier. It will begin constructing a pier on the Gaza Strip's coast that will facilitate maritime aid delivery. Now, again, this is one of those moments where the U.S. could look like a hero. Like we're building a whole pier to help give aid through the sea. Well, yeah, or you could order Israel to stop blocking trucks. You could order Israel to allow the passage of humanitarian resources into the country. Now, you could say, well, how can the U.S. order Israel to do anything? Look, legally, constitutionally, we're not the parent country of Israel. But as a practical matter, let's be honest here. If Biden makes that phone call and says, look, no more money's coming, no more weapons are coming, no UN protection is coming, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I promise you they're going to do X, Y, and Z. A representative of Hamas says that the group is, quote, serious about releasing hostages. They also said, though, that they will only do so after a ceasefire. So, much of the last couple of months has been about Israel saying that Hamas won't release hostages, and Hamas saying Israel keeps changing the goalposts. Well, right now we have an opportunity to see what's what, because Israel certainly wants its hostages back. The Israeli citizenry certainly does. They're protesting in the streets. They're protesting in front of Netanyahu's residence. They want a new regime. They want a new prime minister, but they also want their family home. And I think many people in Israel will say, hey, look, give them the ceasefire. Let's just get the hostages back. That's what they want to see. That's what they want to happen. At the end of the day, my interest is in protecting the vulnerable. I want a ceasefire so that no more babies die. I want a ceasefire so that no more innocent civilians die. I want a ceasefire so no more Israelis die. I want a ceasefire because it's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, a senior Israeli official doesn't think that way, because he said that the military is, quote, moving ahead with its planned ground invasion of Rafah. They're ignoring international warnings. They're ignoring humanitarian outcries, and they're continuing to set their sights on this city that normally has 250,000 people in it, but actually now has 1.5 million in it because of all the displacement and depopulation and ethnic cleansing, I would argue, that's happening throughout Gaza. Anyway, family, those are the latest updates on Gaza. We'll have a lot more coming up later, but as people have said in the chat here, I am trying to get some sleep. I'm trying to eat these hot wings and watch The Office, but I'll have to give you all the updates for sure. Jeremiah Muhammad, my brother, you have been steadfast from day one. You've been solid with the donations, with the memberships, but most importantly, with your presence here. RNH and AMF, once again, thank y'all for joining the channel. AMF, you're literally the newest member of the channel, so we appreciate you and love you just for that alone. All right, family, I will see y'all later. We'll be back tomorrow with more Night School, more War on Gaza update.